This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!
Hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Lite, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry. That's FWH Legal. We are situated today, PJ, back in the old library studio at 530 Frederica Street in the high-rise white brick edifice.
That's right.
And
the only background noise you're going to hear today is the air conditioning.
We do not have a guest.
We almost did.
And that is what we are here to tell everybody. So we don't have a whole lot to talk about because we had prepared for hours.
At least hours.
We had a local radio celeb.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'd say he's probably the best known radio celeb.
Oh, he's
here.
Yeah, he's definitely an A-lister in the area.
All set up to come on the show to talk to us about all things radio, and we were going to zip him with a few legal questions.
That's right.
And here we are. It's just you and me, nobody else.
It's okay. At the end of the day, it really doesn't need to be anybody else.
We've done this a few times.
Yeah. It happens, though. It was a work-related thing.
It was a work-related thing.
And he let us know. It wasn't like he slept in.
He gave us notice. Yeah, that one time.
Yeah, we've had a previous guest that just overslept.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Shows us where people think about the old podcast.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we will get this person back on the show in several weeks. Forecasting for next week, I will be out of the office.
All right.
And basically out of communication. I'm going to be in a very remote area in upstate New York doing some fishing with my dad and my uncles and cousins.
There you go.
And was concerned about having enough internet to be able to communicate, long enough for the podcast for it to be clear. So you've made plans. Now, we may want to make sure that you set the alarm and all that for your
I'll be there.
Co-host.
Yeah. Assuming he doesn't fall out of his chair.
Yeah, that's right. And so John Bennett's going to step in for me. Who's going to do the intro?
Oh, I'll do the intro.
Okay, so hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Lite.
When you're gone, I step into the seat of host,
and
that makes whoever else is there the co-host.
And you guys are recording from Dee's Diner.
We will be at Dee's.
Okay, now this week we're going to put a little notice on social media ahead of time for people to come out to Dee's and say hi and that
sit
kind
down
of
and talk
thing.
to
Sit
us.
down and talk to us. We'll share a mic with you. You can be on the podcast.
That's right.
Anyway, so that'll be next Thursday. A week from today. So what is the date on that? The 4th? The 5th? 5th. Okay, so May 5th, 2022, there's going to be a podcast being recorded at Dee's Diner. You're going to do you know yet if it's the morning or noon?
I'm still waiting to hear from John about that.
Okay.
He made it sound like he had something happening that day, and then I'm pretty sure he came back and said
canceled it all for us.
Had nothing going on. I don't think he canceled anything. I think he was just fibbing.
Trying to fluff
a little
bit.
Fibber, yeah.
Fibber McGee. That kind of maps things out for the podcast. You've got today with no guest, just the two of us.
And no real topic of
real topic. Can you tell? Because I keep circling back and talking about this. A couple of things in the news recently here, and it's local news. We had a family law judge that was determined by the Judicial Commission to be unfit for service and had her vacate her seat. That was Julie Gordon.
Right.
I have read that she is asking for a reconsideration of that decision.
They always do.
Citing Marcy's Law. And so, and there's also, obviously, she is planning on putting her name in the hat for the new family court position. And we were having a discussion yesterday. Should she be allowed to run for another judicial position when they've told her she can't be when she has to vacate this position,
Right.
and that just kind of is a head scratcher to me. That you wouldn't be at least, I guess the word would be probated, like on probation for a while before you're allowed to step back into a judicial role when they've determined that there was judicial misconduct. So I'm not real clear on all that, but it has been kind of in the news here.
Yeah.
I've been asked about it by people that don't live in Owensboro because it made the news, statewide at least, about that. But the good news for Owensboro is that we are getting a second family law judge position. The legislature in Kentucky passed the law that would allow Davis County to have a second family law judge.
Oh, so she was the only one.
She was it, right.
Okay.
And we needed a second family law judge. Now, in her absence, two of our retired circuit court judges, Joe Caslin and Tom Caslin, both of whom served as circuit court judges for many years here in Davis County, in their retirement, they are tag teaming and doing all of the family court work.
Right. Tag team back again.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the word on the street is that Tom and Joe have done an incredible job in getting the docket caught up and getting things moving. All the attorneys have said, it's been a good experience. So,
Right.
Kudos to these retired judges for stepping up and filling the void.
Yeah.
And the most recent article I read about this said that even, no matter what's going on with her, with Julie Gordon's petition for reconsideration of the matter, they're willing to step in and do what they need to do until it's all sorted out. So
That's awesome. So what are the allegations against her? I've seen the articles and stuff, but I haven't read them.
it was just, I think, I don't.
I know it was
wanna
like
go
abuse of power or
Yeah,
something.
it was abuse of power claims. Issues about giving a certain lawyer here in town a bunch more appointments on guardian ad litem cases than others were getting, and that just so happened that person was the attorney representing Judge Gordon's child in some matters, and so things like that. So just using the position of the judge to maybe exert a little bit of pressure on some elected folks here in town and other not, that has been heard by the Judicial Commission. A determination was made, and now it's up for reconsideration.
Right.
And,
I'm assuming, though, that they would have to have had some kind of proof, though.
well, there was a lot of text messages and phone conversations and witnesses that were asked to testify, or that the documents were subpoenaed.
Gotcha.
And so, everybody I've talked to said that it was a fairly thorough workup that was done.
Right.
And
Now, if you have evidence against her, right, like pretty damning evidence, which leads them to the conclusion of this is a justified decision to make, to take her out of that position, how is she able to appeal? Like, if you have text messages or you have audio conversations and it's all pretty cut and dry or dead to rights, I mean, how do you appeal that?
well, there's probably a couple. Again, I'm speaking just from general legal knowledge as opposed to this particular matter. So,
right.
if anybody hears this and I'm wrong, that's my condition. I'm saying this based on, but so perhaps there's a procedural error that could have been could have occurred.
Right.
There could have been perhaps some technical issue that wasn't followed properly by the commission, or that there may have been a situation where they refused to consider certain evidence that she thought was valuable. They just said, we're not listening to that. So no, so there could be a number of possible avenues. Like in any appeal, you could have all this real clear evidence, but the court gave an improper jury instruction. Now, there wasn't a jury here, but they're more procedural or technical issues as opposed to just evidentiary.
Okay.
So,
and I mean, I know it's not a perfect system. It's the best system we have, because I just saw an article about this guy who had spent 32 years in prison and was exonerated because I guess some new evidence came to light, and it was determined that he actually served time for a crime he didn't commit. So I know that it does happen.
Right.
But sometimes it's kind of like with this whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp situation.
Oh no, that's an interesting trial.
Yeah, because
have you watched any of that trial?
Yes, I have. And the did you see where Amber Heard's attorney objected to his own question,
Yes,
the hearsay? That
Right.
was hilarious.
The part that I saw, and I'm sure you saw this, was the multiple times that the attorney said, "Did I read that right? Did I read that right?
Yeah.
Did I read that? Did I read that correctly? Did I read that right?" And Johnny Depp, "Yes, you read that. Once again, you've read that. You know, you have read that right all the time. You know,
For the third time, you have read that correctly.
Yes. You know, wouldn't it be fun? I would like to have the opportunity to cross-examine Johnny Depp. He's number one. He's no dummy.
No.
And number two, his facial expressions and just the quirkiness of him make him probably like the champion of the people you would like to have the chance to see if you could really get him, you know, in cross-examination. I saw a question that was asked like, a giant wine sipper or something like that. What was it?
Mega pint.
He goes
of alcohol.
A mega pint. Never heard it called that. You know, it's like he's been a...
Before this trial, everybody I talked to seemed to be more gravitating towards Amber Heard's side because of the stuff that had come out. I'm not saying that Johnny Depp isn't a troubled individual. He is, and he's openly admits that he has a drug problem and an alcohol problem, and he's caught up in all that, you know. And from everything I've seen, all the testimony he's done, he hasn't tried to hide or lie about any of it. I mean, there's a few ways he answers some questions, like when they were asking him about a box that had potentially had cocaine in it. He gave a bit of I felt like a skewed answer, trying not to answer it directly, but skirting around the issue. I'm pretty sure he kept cocaine in that box, and that was like one of the few times I saw where he wasn't answering directly. But
he just gives funny
Team Johnny Depp. Oh yeah,
expressions and
he's a weird guy.
Right.
And it's interesting because if you look at his career from when he started, just from, you know, like his first role in A Nightmare on Elm Street, where he's this like clean cut, normal acting kid, to where he's at now, he's like that transformation between looking pretty normal and all American and where he's at now. It's just, he's really bizarre.
Well, you know, I mean, I personally, and some people don't, but I loved all the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I did too.
Those are great movies. Mm-hmm. And he just has that, I mean, it's perfect for that part. And they got the right guy. He's just, I mean, my word for him is quirky. He's one of those kind of guys like where you think you can put him under your thumb and he squirts out, and you know, he's like, he's a little shifty, you know?
Yeah.
And I can see it is a unique case because, you know, 90% of the domestic violence type cases are with the male being the aggressor.
Right.
There's a part of you that says, you know, I can believe that Johnny Depp would sit there and just take it. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of the way he is, like, oh, hit me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few. Did you hear the audio recording where he was like trying to cut himself?
No.
Or he was threatening to cut himself, but it was like he wanted Amber to cut him with a knife, and she was pleading for him not to do it. It was obvious he was under the influence of something at the time he was doing it. But I think too, it's just, I think he, like I said, I think he's just a troubled individual. There may be some depression there. I mean, there's no telling. So the other thing to me that comes across as real sketchy with Amber Heard is that how many conversations and videos that she has of him showing him at his worst, at his worst moments or at his lowest points.
Yeah, why would somebody do that?
Yeah, you don't record all that because you aren't being calculated.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And he caught her several of the times, and of course he too has audio and things, but I think at that point, and once again I could be wrong, but like it feels like at the point in which a majority of the stuff I've heard from him is in the later parts of their relationship. So I think he realized at some point what was happening, all the video and audio she was collecting. So then he, as a retaliatory situation, he was like, well, I need to start doing the same, because you can only see it so many times before you start to question, like, why would someone have this much video of me? And then there's this one video that had leaked to TMZ, and it's the one where he's drunk, or it's the mega pint video where he's like slamming the kitchen or the cabinets or whatever. But apparently the whole video didn't get out, just a small portion of it, the portion that makes him look bad. But if you watch the whole video, it's not. There's things that were taken out of context.
Right.
Because you didn't get to see the whole thing. So
well, it'll be interesting to see how the jury comes back in that case.
Oh yeah. I have a feeling everything I've seen on social media, everybody seems to be gravitating towards Johnny Depp. One of the most recent testimonies he did, they had audio of her berating him and saying that no one will believe him because he's a man. Because he was wanting out of the relationship, and that she was, trying to avoid like a circus because she felt like her reputation had been damaged, which it has. But in the process, it was damaging his reputation.
Right.
And he was like, let's just sit down, write a letter, explain everything to everybody. We control the narrative. We put it out there, and then we part ways. And she didn't want to do that. Because he even said, we're going to have to address the abuse. We're going to have to. And she got mad about that. And then that's when she was like, well, no one's going to believe you because, you're a man. No one's going to believe you because you're Johnny Depp, and saying all these things. And he has audio of it. And so it's kind of hard to argue against that when at that point it's kind of obvious what she's saying.
Yeah. Where is that case being tried? That's one thing I don't know. What state's it in?
Fairfax, Virginia.
There you go. So see, that is interesting. That's interesting too.
Huh.
Probably a little bit more of a conservative area than it would be trying it out in California. So, well, we'll keep an eye on that one, and that'll be interesting. So, before we close, coming up on another trial here, and we get asked the question, well, how long is my case going to take? And there's no way I can tell you. I can't tell people.
Right.
This case is interesting. We won the case on summary judgment in circuit court back in 2016. The incident that gives rise to this entire thing occurred in 2014, and it went up to the Court of Appeals. And when it went up to the Court of Appeals, we won part of it and we lost part of it. So the part we lost kicks back down to the circuit court to get tried. There was a change of lawyers for the other side. Then they wanted to redo some work. And so here we are in June of 2022. This trial is going to start June 1st, 2022, and trying this case. I can't say a whole lot about it because a potential juror could listen to this. And then
right.
I will say that, this has been an incredible year for us because this will be the third trial that I've prepared for.
Yeah.
It's unique because I have co-counsel with me from Bowling Green on the case, and it's not like preparing it with an attorney here in the office who making sure that we're going to mesh,
Right. So you don't know the
I know who it is.
Oh,
I know who.
But you don't know them very well.
Right.
Or?
Yeah, I've never had a case with them before this, and so
right.
But we're on the same side, and so through multiple phone conversations, you have to kind of get comfortable with, well, okay, I disagree with you, but and how's that going to be taken? How do I communicate that, or how does he communicate it to me to where it's like we need to have an alliance here, but we also want to put forward the best case we can. So it's been unique. It's an interesting process for me. It's but we'll see. The trial is June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So after it's over, I can come back and report about it.
Now, when you're co-counsel with someone, how do you determine who is kind of leading things, or do you just say, I'll take this part, you take this part?
Yeah, that it's different in every case. Like a lot of times I have co-counsel in cases because it's an area of law that I don't feel comfortable having an entire case. If somebody's hoed that row before, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you kind of want them to take charge, and then you're there more of a support cast. So you're more second chair. Let them take the lead. This is not a case like that. This is a case that he's qualified to try from beginning to end. He's qualified to have handled the case from beginning to end, and likewise I am. It's a business dispute. Okay. It's a unique dispute. But so the reason for there being co-counsel in this case is that part of the claim is protected by an insurance policy, and part of the claim against our client is not protected by an insurance policy. So my client has personal exposure or business exposure, and they have an insurance company that's protecting them on the other exposure. So the insurance company wants to make sure that their insured is taken care of with counsel, so they have that. But the two things have to be moving forward at the same time.
Right.
So it is a very unique situation where there's two attorneys who are representing the same party but a different financial exposure. And
okay, gotcha.
So yeah, so to answer your question, how we've kind of divided and conquered is based upon my comfort level with the client from having represented them for years versus him. And so we've kind of given him anybody that's not with the company to either cross-examine or handle. He's going to do the opening. I'm going to do the closing, that kind of stuff. So
right.
It's an interesting process, one that I haven't done in 26 years. I mean, I've had co-counsel and tried cases with co-counsel.
Right.
But I've tried cases over in Indiana where I let the Indiana attorney take the lead, and likewise tried cases here in Kentucky where I've had Indiana co-counsel who sent me the case. And this is a unique situation. It's a very unique case, and I look forward to reporting it, to everybody because it'll be a good story,
right?
But got to wait until it's over to be able to do that. I'm boring you. You're yawning.
No, I'm just tired.
Okay,
it's still early.
Well, we are going to wrap this up. Look forward next week for you and John to take over the reins.
Because I already have a topic picked out on something I think would be really interesting to talk about.
Good,
so.
And then don't forget to salute mothers because it's close to Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
And I think you mentioned that it's going to also be Cinco de Mayo. So, hey, let's make the most of it. I'm sorry I won't be with you, but I'll
have John drink a beer for you.
Whatever.
He can clock out on his lunch break.
You can't do that at D's. D's is a family place.
That's true. I don't even know if they have alcohol.
They don't have alcohol on the menu.
Okay.
No. Coffee, Diet Mountain Dew.
That's all. Let's face it. You really don't need alcohol when you have coffee.
And Diet Mountain Dew. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. This has been Law Lite, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, FWHlegal.com. Check us out on Facebook and all of our other platforms of social media. Check out our website. Give us a call if you need good legal representation. 270-4INJURY. 270-4INJURY. Until next time, we appreciate you.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!